The hidden power you never knew you had. What if I told you most of the decisions you make every single day aren't really yours? The words you choose, the people you trust, the dreams you chase, even the mistakes you keep repeating. What if they're not fully in your control? Now, I'm not talking about some sci-fi brain chip or conspiracy theory. I'm talking about something much closer. Something inside you. Your subconscious mind. The question is, does it control you? Or is that just a myth we tell ourselves when life doesn't go as planned? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most fascinating and terrifying ideas in psychology: subconscious mind control. Is it fact or fiction? And the answer will change how you see every choice you've ever made. Why your mind isn't fully yours. Have you ever walked into a store, planning to buy one thing and walked out with 5? Or stayed in a relationship you knew was toxic, yet something inside wouldn't let you leave? Or maybe you've made a promise to yourself: this time, I'll change, only to find yourself back in the same old habits again and again. Why does this happen? Most people think, I'm in control of my life. I make rational decisions. But here's the truth. Up to 95% of your decisions are driven by your subconscious mind. That means your fears, your habits, your emotional triggers. Most of them operate on autopilot. You're not consciously choosing them. You're reacting. And here's the scary part. Your subconscious mind doesn't care about your goals. It doesn't care about your dreams. It cares about one thing: keeping you safe. Safe from pain. Safe from change. Safe from uncertainty. That's why you keep sabotaging your own success. That's why you feel stuck, even when you want to move forward. It's not because you're weak. It's because you've been fighting an invisible force you didn't even know existed. And once you understand how this works, you can finally take back control. What you'll discover today. Now imagine this. What if you could see the hidden strings that control your choices and cut them? What if you could train your mind to work for you, not against you? Today, I'm going to show you how your subconscious secretly shapes 95% of your life without you realizing it. The most dangerous mind control trick, and why you might already be under its influence. What Stoic wisdom teaches us about mental freedom, and why Marcus Aurelius warned us about this over 2,000 years ago. And most importantly, a practical framework to reclaim your thoughts, your choices, and your life. This is not a theory. It's science, it's psychology, and it's philosophy, merged into actionable steps you can apply right now. So, if you've ever wondered, why do I keep repeating the same mistakes? Or, why do I feel like something's holding me back? Stay with me till the very end, because I promise you this. After today, you'll never look at your own mind the same way again. Epictetus and the mind's reins. Long before modern psychology ever existed, a man named Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, gave us one of the most profound truths about the human mind. You may fetter my leg, but not even Zeus himself can overpower my free will. What does that mean? Epictetus was saying that our true freedom doesn't depend on external circumstances. It depends on our ability to control our own thoughts and judgments. But here's the paradox. How can we control what we don't even see? Modern neuroscience now tells us something startling. Up to 95% of your daily decisions happen in the subconscious mind. That means most of the time, you're not fully driving the car. You're just sitting in the passenger seat, watching the road go by. The Stoics knew this danger long before we had brain scans. They warned us, you become what you give your thoughts to. In other words, your mind is a wild horse. If you don't hold the reins, someone else will. Advertisers, social media, even your own fears and insecurities. And here's the kicker. Most people believe they're in control, when in reality, they're being led by habits they never chose, by beliefs they never questioned, and by patterns they don't even know exist. Epictetus called this enslavement of the mind. And he believed the first step to freedom was awareness. Which raises the question, if the Stoics figured this out 2,000 years ago, why are we still falling for the same mental traps today? That's where the real story begins. The science behind the subconscious. Imagine this. You walk into your favorite coffee shop. You don't think about opening the door, stepping inside, or pulling out your phone to check notifications. It just happens. That's your subconscious at work. Here's the truth most people never realize. The subconscious mind is like the operating system running in the background of your brain. You don't see it, but it controls almost everything. Your habits, your emotional reactions, even the way you interpret reality. Neuroscience shows that up to 95% of our behavior is driven by the subconscious. Why? Because your brain is designed for efficiency. If you had to consciously think about every little action, walking, breathing, even choosing words, you'd collapse from mental overload. So your brain automates. It takes repeated thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and stores them as programs, what we call habits. The more you repeat something, the deeper it gets etched into the subconscious. This is why breaking bad habits feels like swimming against a powerful current. You're fighting years of mental programming. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. Your subconscious is not just an assistant. It's a gatekeeper of reality. It filters everything you experience through belief systems formed long ago, often in childhood. Those moments when you feel like you're not good enough, when fear holds you back. That's not logic speaking. That's old programming whispering in the dark. Psychologists call this the automaticity principle, the brain's tendency to turn repeated conscious actions into subconscious routines. And advertisers? They know this better than anyone. Ever notice why brands repeat the same slogans and colors over and over? They're not talking to your conscious mind. They're drilling straight into your subconscious, where decisions are really made. But here's the problem. If 95% of your life is run by this hidden system, who's really in control? You or your programming? The answer might shock you. Because the subconscious can either be your silent enemy or your greatest ally. And the difference? Whether you learn to reprogram it or let it run unchecked, the invisible puppeteer. How your habits own you. Think about this for a moment. How did you brush your teeth this morning? Did you consciously think, okay, pick up the toothbrush, move it left, right, up, down? Of course not. You just did it automatically. Now here's the kicker. That same automation isn't just in your morning routine. It's in your decisions, your relationships, even your success or failure. Let me paint a picture. Imagine someone named Alex. Alex wants to start a business. He watches videos, reads books, feels fired up. But then, when it's time to act, something happens. He procrastinates. He checks social media. He reorganizes his desk for the 5th time. Eventually, he gives up. Not because he didn't have the skills, but because an invisible puppeteer, his habits and hidden beliefs, pulled the strings. Here's the truth no one likes to admit. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. And most of those systems live in the subconscious. Take another example. You're in a relationship, and every time things get too good, you sabotage it. You pick a fight or pull away emotionally. Why? Because deep down, your subconscious holds a belief like, I'm not worthy of love, or people always leave, so better push them away first. See how powerful this is? Your subconscious doesn't care about your dreams. It cares about what's familiar, because to your brain, familiar equals safe. Even if familiar is toxic, painful, or destructive. That's why people stay in bad jobs. That's why some keep choosing the wrong partners. That's why we repeat the same mistakes again and again. Now, think about this question. If your habits, formed by old experiences, are pulling the strings, then who's in charge? You or the program running inside you since childhood? The uncomfortable truth? You are not as free as you think. And until you recognize the strings, you can't cut them. But here's the good news. What the subconscious creates through repetition, it can also uncreate through repetition. And in a moment, I'll show you how Stoic philosophy and modern psychology give you the tools to rewrite the script. Can people really control your mind? Now let's tackle the big question that probably brought you here. Can someone actually control your mind? The short answer? Not in the Hollywood sense. No one is waving a pocket watch saying, "You are getting sleepy," and turning you into a zombie. But in the real world, yes, people can influence you far more than you realize. And it happens every single day. Think about the last time you scrolled on social media. You saw an ad for a product you didn't even know existed an hour ago, and suddenly you want it. That's not an accident. That's psychology at work, carefully designed to target your subconscious. Advertisers use colors, sounds, and emotional triggers to create associations. For example, red makes you hungry. That's why fast food chains love it. A soft voiceover saying, "You deserve this," hits your subconscious need for validation. Limited time offers? That's scarcity bias. They're hacking your brain's survival instincts. And it doesn't stop at ads. Politicians do it. Marketers do it. Even people in your life do it, sometimes without even knowing. Ever heard of social proof? If everyone's doing it, you feel safer doing it too. That's why you trust a restaurant with a long line, or why you check reviews before buying something. Your subconscious is wired to think, if others approve, it must be safe. But here's where it gets scary: social engineering. This is the art of manipulating trust to make you act against your own interests. Hackers use it. Scammers use it. They don't just steal passwords, they steal decisions. So, can people control your mind? Not by force, but by planting seeds in your subconscious. They know you act on feelings more than facts. They know your brain takes shortcuts to save energy. And they use it to steer your choices without you ever realizing it. Now, before you panic, remember this: influence is everywhere, but so is awareness. The moment you start seeing the strings, they lose their power. In fact, Epictetus once said, "If a man is free, then he is not the slave of another." If he knows what is his and what is not his, no one can compel him. This is where the Stoic mindset becomes your armor. Not by fighting every influence, but by mastering what's truly yours: your judgment, your choices. In the next part, I'll show you exactly what your subconscious is controlling right now, without asking for your permission. Stoic countermeasure. Controlling what you can. If all this talk about subconscious influence makes you feel powerless, here's your lifeline. The Stoics already solved this over 2,000 years ago. Their answer? Focus only on what's within your control. Epictetus said it best: some things are in our power, and others are not. And here's the truth: your subconscious is powerful, yes, but it isn't invincible. Because there's one thing it can't override without your permission: your conscious awareness. Think of it this way: your subconscious is like a river. It flows automatically, shaping the landscape. Most people just float along, going wherever it takes them. But you can step into the water, grab the oar, and steer. The Stoics practiced this every day. They couldn't control the world around them, the storms, the politics, the betrayals. But they could control their judgments, choices, and actions. And that's exactly how you regain power from your subconscious. Here's the simple Stoic countermeasure. Step 1. Awareness. Catch the impulse before it becomes an action. Why do you suddenly want that product? Why do you feel the need to argue? Pause. Question it. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Step 2. The control test. Ask yourself, is this within my control? Your feelings? Not entirely. Your thoughts? Sometimes. Your response? Always. That's where your freedom lives. Step 3. Reframe the narrative. Instead of "I can't stop my impulses," say "this is just a thought, not a command." Detach. Observe. Choose. You're no longer a puppet. You're the puppeteer. The beauty of Stoicism is that it doesn't demand perfection. It demands practice. Every time you resist an impulse, every time you pause before reacting, you weaken the strings pulling you. In the next part, we'll break down what exactly your subconscious controls and how to turn it from a silent assassin into your strongest ally. How to reprogram your subconscious for freedom. You now understand the power of the subconscious and how Stoicism gives you the first line of defense. But here's the question. If your subconscious has been silently shaping your life for years, can you really change it? Yes. And the process is simpler than you think, because the subconscious learns through repetition and emotion. Let's break it down. Step 1. Interrupt the loop. Every subconscious pattern starts as a thought-feeling-behavior loop. For example, you feel anxious, you scroll social media, you feel worse, repeat. To reprogram this, you need to pause and redirect. When the urge hits, stop. Take 3 deep breaths. Name the impulse out loud. I feel anxious and I want to scroll. That simple act moves control from your subconscious to your conscious mind. Step 2. Create a new default. Your subconscious doesn't delete old patterns. It replaces them. So instead of I feel anxious, so I scroll, install I feel anxious, so I journal for 2 minutes. It's called pattern replacement, and it's the foundation of all habit change. Step 3. Use visualization like an ancient Stoic. Marcus Aurelius practiced something called premeditatio malorum, visualizing challenges before they happen. Why? Because your brain can't fully distinguish between imagination and reality. When you visualize yourself choosing differently, your subconscious starts wiring that response as familiar. Spend 2 minutes a day picturing yourself calm in situations where you usually react. Your mind begins to believe it's possible because, to the subconscious, it already happened. Step 4. Anchor your identity. Your subconscious follows who you believe you are. If you keep saying, I'm undisciplined, your mind obeys. Shift the script. I'm someone who chooses control over impulse. Say it. Repeat it. Write it. Feel it. Identity shapes behavior more than willpower ever could. Step 5. Guard the inputs. Your subconscious is always listening to what you watch, read, and surround yourself. Negative news? Toxic people? That's programming you don't want. Instead, feed it content that aligns with your vision, wisdom, discipline, resilience. This isn't magic. It's mechanics. And if you commit to these 5 steps daily, your subconscious stops being a silent saboteur and becomes your strongest ally. In the next section, we'll reveal why most people fail at this and how to make sure you don't. Turning awareness into power. You made it this far. You've pulled back the curtain and seen the truth. Your subconscious isn't just background noise. It's the operating system of your life. But here's the thing. Awareness without action changes nothing. And yet, awareness is the first step to absolute power. Because the moment you see the strings, you can cut them. Think about this. Most people live on autopilot, reacting, scrolling, consuming, believing they're in control. They're not. They're puppets of old programming, childhood conditioning, and outside influences. But not you. Not anymore. When you recognize a subconscious pattern, you reclaim a piece of your freedom. And freedom is the foundation of everything you want. Confidence, resilience, independence. What does power look like? It's walking into a stressful meeting calm and centered because you trained your mind. It's choosing action over procrastination because your identity now screams, I follow through. It's saying no to manipulation because you understand how persuasion works and where you draw the line. This isn't about controlling everything. It's about mastering the one thing Epictetus said was always in your power, your mind. And when you master your mind, life bends in your favor. Not because the world changes, but because you change the lens through which you see it. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, catch one subconscious pattern every day. Pause. Redirect. Replace. Because every time you do, you reinforce a truth most people never learn. You are not your impulses. You're the commander of your ship. Stay disciplined. Stay aware. And if this video opened your eyes, imagine what the next one will do. So hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this with someone who needs to wake up to their own power. Because in a world where everyone is being programmed, the greatest act of rebellion is to own your mind.